70-64 win over Michigan State. Here are what the matchups look like for next weekend. It's going to be number 1 Florida versus number 1 Auburn on April 5th at 6:09 p.m. Eastern on CBS. And then number 1 Houston versus number 1 Duke right after at 8:49 ET on CBS.
Why 49?
I always had that same question.
Be specific.
And I was talking to a friend of mine who has kids, and he had to pick up his daughter from school early at 1:48.
Right.
So
not 150, not
weird.
145.
Is it
What
something
is
about like
this?
making it easier for people to remember something when it's...
I'm assuming maybe it's parking and then making sure it's not like packed when they're picking up people. Maybe
for the pickup
people,
line, but like,
maybe people have different
for the
times.
game,
Why
though.
this? And
Yeah.
and is it really going to be, it's 6:09, everybody get ready?
Give me 7 o'clock, 7:15,
It's
7:30, something like, yeah.
It's weird.
For TV, I get that. For Greg's situation, though, that makes sense because when you say 7, people think, 7:20, whatever. But yeah, for TV, I don't quite get it.
Well, the games will both be played at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. And a little fun fact, the last time all the number 1 seeds made it to the Final Four was in 2008.
That's fun.
Been a while. The movie A Working Man took the number 1 spot at the
Nice.
box office yesterday, even though Disney's live-action remake of Snow White was supposed to have that spot. Did you see it, Menace?
I did with Vaughn. Vaughn and I had a date.
Nice. Cute.
We watched A
Romantic.
Working Man, and I think, Greg, you would love it, and Woody would love it as well.
Well, because every Jason Statham movie is.
Well, kicking ass and revenge.
Yep.
And so that would be
Sounds
the
good.
Woody part. And then it was also kind of like Taken. So somebody was
I can see
taken,
that.
Greg.
like all those Liam Neeson movies.
Yeah.
Every Jason Statham movie is fill in the blank with an occupation, something bad happens, and this person who you don't think is a super spy suddenly is a super spy.
But the best Jason Statham movie of life is The Mechanic, when he plays a hitman. So good.
Yeah.
He's a mechanic,
He's
So
always
stealth.
he's always a working man of
Yeah.
some
a beekeeper, or a mechanic.
And he's a loner.
He
So,
he was
yeah.
murking people
So
like
the
crazy.
number 1 movie is $15 million.
Yeah.
Does nobody go to the movies anymore?
It wasn't
It
just
seems so low.
It wasn't
This
a huge movie weekend.
Yeah, also, nothing's really...
I mean, Snow White's already been out.
But Snow White came out, I remember it was like 48 million. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, but
doesn't-
a lot of people didn't want
I
to
know,
go
it used
see
to be like 150.
Right.
Yeah.
No, there'll
True.
be those weekends soon.
Those are
I mean,
summer
like Jurassic
blockbusters, yeah.
Park and
Like
stuff
whenever
that.
there's a musician that says, "Oh, we had the number 1 album last week." If you look into what the look,
It's like 5,000 sales.
Right.
or something.
Not-
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my
Depends
God!
who you're up
Yeah.
against.
Used to be you sold 100,000 copies
Right.
in your first week, or
Yeah.
even more than that.
Yeah, those days
and
are
now,
over.
now it's like you can have the number 1 album in the country. So part of me thought it'd be funny if we just got together like some stupid album of stuff. We have at least 5,000 listeners,
Right.
Maybe
right?
more.
And if everybody bought it, we could have the number 1 album in the country
That's
You
a
just
great
gotta do
idea.
like
just to game the system,
again when
Like
there's
rip,
not a
drip the
busy
hits.
release weekend.
Right.
just to show like what not a big deal it is.
Isn't that what like Spencer Pratt did? Wasn't that the big deal? Like got his lady the top spot?
No,
Just-
that was just
Heidi.
because of the fires.
yeah, but
Right.
that's what I'm saying. It wasn't because of the music.
Oh no, because that album had been out for 10 years, and then when people were like, "How can we help support
I
you
see.
in this time
Yeah.
of need?" He said, "Go buy her album."
Okay,
it was
so
just
support the
something that
Woody
was
Show
already
album.
around.
I mean, just to say that we had the number 1 album in the country,
Yeah, it's great.
and we sold 3,000 copies.
That's fantastic.
That's the joke.
Well, while we're talking about entertainment, country singer Morgan Wallen's appearance on SNL getting a lot of attention. First, it was those promos that they posted hyping up the show where he could not have looked less interested.
Hey, y'all.
And then after the show, where, you know, the host and musical guests, they say goodnight and everybody walks around and mingles and
They're
waves at the
all
camera.
hugging.
He hugged the host,
Rando
Madsen.
actress chick.
Yeah. And just walked off toward the camera into the audience and left. And then on Instagram, he posted a photo of his private jet and it said, "Get me to God's country." And that was it. Because people say it was an honest mistake. He didn't mean anything by it.
Okay.
Because the guy in a tractor this morning is like, oh yeah, private jet guy. He gets
Hell
me.
yeah.
Yeah, he's one of me. He's one of us.
He's coming back to God's country.
And a 70-year-old man was charged with aggravated assault after allegedly hitting a counter-protester with his car outside of a Tesla dealership in Idaho. About 30 people had gotten together for this anti-Tesla rally, and then about 200 counter-protesters showed up. Apparently, as one
What a
dude...
circus.
Yeah, one dude got to the rally, a 70-year-old allegedly made an obscene gesture at him and then hit him with his car. Cops say he had a non-life-threatening injury and drove himself to the hospital. They also say they tracked down the license plate of the old guy, found him at his home. He was arrested, charged with felony aggravated battery.
Yeah, there's another story. This guy in Texas, he filed a lawsuit against a guy who keyed his Tesla. He is citing emotional distress.
Whoopsie.
There's a woman in Florida who was hit with felony charges for sticking a wad of gum on the door handle of a Tesla.
Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah.
Gum. And speaking of cars, auto tariffs set to take effect within days, and it has some people wondering if they should just go out and buy a car like right now.
Yeah.
Experts say you probably should consider that, but be careful. Don't skip comparison shopping. Make sure you're researching loans. But the 25% auto tariffs are set to take effect on Thursday. Tariffs will apply to imported cars, SUVs, minivans, cargo vans, light trucks. So get on it if you've been thinking about it.
I'm kind of torn on this because the tariffs, okay, that will force people to build more in America. And you're like, oh, okay, this is going to generate more American jobs, which is awesome, which I totally support. But we're forgetting, like, the robots are coming,
Robots.
too. So, like, are we going to have people with jobs? Or are we going to have,
Flippy.
Are we going to have robots in America making American cars?
I want a tariff for our American robots.
I know.
Get them the pay they deserve.
I'm kind of torn. Like, I support on both sides.
Yeah.
Building in America, but then by the time that's happening, are we just?
I do support
robots?
the idea of a company, whether it's building with human workers or robot workers.
Yeah,
of a
but
company
the whole idea is having like
building those here.
actual people working. But are we out of time? Is it going to be all robots?
Well,
We'll find out.
I think it's the same as some of these other jobs. Like, just because a job doing this is turned over to automation, they've always pointed out, I forget the article that we were talking about recently.
There's a lot of seamstresses that went out of work when the sewing machine came around. Sammy, high five.
Right, but
Yeah.
the point is where, like, when one group of a profession goes away, there's a whole nother one that started.
Right.
Yeah.
So just because you were doing this before doesn't mean you can't go do something else. Or
And as people in radio, we know.
oh yeah, right,
Yeah.
right,
Robot
exactly.
overseer.
Yeah.
It's just like I used to be able to see the future so clearly,
Exactly.
but I can't anymore.
All right, thank you very much, Gina Grad.
You got it.
We're gonna take a quick break. More Woody shows next.
More of The Woody Show. More.
If you know what I'm saying, I'm not even going to pause.
The Woody Show. We'll be right back. All 98.7. LA's new alternative.
Morongo Casino.